You are watching Momentum 2025 live here at MomoCon at the Georgia World Congress Center. My name is Bobby Blackwolf. I am thrilled to be here with you for the start of the Super Metroid block. Yes, you're probably saying, what do you mean the Super Metroid block? Well, imagine a game where you give Samus from Super Metroid Spider-Man powers with the combat of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. That is what you were about to experience today with Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. But we do have a Super Metroid randomizer coming up next, and we do have some bid wars open. We have one where you choose the character of Samus. One looks like Samus. One is two Links standing on top of each other inside an invisible trench coat. One is Cuphead, and one is Buff Kirby. But we have also just opened the Save and Kill the Animals incentive. So you can save the animals or save the frames. Head on over to speedrun.giz. We are raising money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We have raised just over $2,100 towards that. It is an amazing cause. Thank you so much for your generosity. But let's get into some Spider-Man. I want to see some pictures of Spider-Man. OofMoment420, show us how it's done.
Hello, yes, I'm Oof. I speedrun this game, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions for the DS. Bobby gave a great description for this game, so I'm gonna be running the full Arsenal mode. It's basically like a New Game Plus sort of deal where you have all the moves unlocked from the beginning. So I'm gonna be showing some of those off. So I'm gonna set it up real quick. Time's gonna start whenever I go past this save screen right after. So I'm gonna be turning the combat difficulty and exploration difficulty down because I'm bad. Not just kidding. It's faster because, enemies are weaker. They have less powerful attacks. So I'll count y'all down so we can start off the timer in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. We're gonna speedrun some cutscenes at the very beginning. Just kind of cut through those real quick. So the whole point of this game is basically Mysterio found this really powerful tablet that can control space and time, and we want to stop that from happening because that doesn't sound too good. But something's bad gonna happen. So I'm just gonna go through this room real quick and hopefully get to him not too far from now. So as you see, a lot of this game is web zips and web swings. So I'm gonna be doing that to try and get to Mysterio as quick as possible. That little grin thing on the ground there is where you normally get power-ups, but as I said earlier, we have all of those. So I'm gonna do punch, punch, punch. I want to get him below 1/4 health and then hit that, skip this cutscene, and then this kind of sets up the whole point of the game where you, Noir, and 2099 Spider-Man want to get different tablet pieces back. So I'm going to be going through this room, swing down there, kick through the vent, roll in. Gonna set up this little glitch right here where you kind of just like jump through the vent almost. You're supposed to roll through there, and then hopefully... There we go. So now we move on to Noir Spider-Man. Something about this game, each of them have slightly different powers, where, for example, Noir Spider-Man right here can reveal kind of secrets in the environment, as I'm about to show off. I'm gonna go down through here. So at the end of this kind of little hallway right here, as we web swing, kick through, that little lever in the background there, the other Spider-Man can't normally do that. So once again, I'm gonna show you what the exclusive kind of power up to 2099 is later. But as we get through here, we're gonna defeat these enemies in the door with a little setup I have here. Get through those two, throw the weapon, punch the guy, and then go back into this room. Go down here, accidentally kick that guy in the face. Sorry, no, I'm just kidding. We go down here, kick through there, left down. I love going through that big room. You get the really nice web swing with a cool dinosaur fossil in the back, and you one-shot the guy. All right, we're gonna run up this wall here, and then we're gonna go to the second boss of the game, Boomerang. You can kind of imagine why he's called Boomerang. He has a little boomerang in the background, but we're gonna make short work of him, hopefully.
You sure picked a good day to die.
Ooh.
Well, that was pretty quick.
So we have a $5 donation from Nate the Man that says, imagine being a boss in this game and put into a Tekken combo that brings you from full health to defeat.
Yep. I'm gonna mention some of the like mechanics that you can kind of see in the bottom right. There's like a little blue meter there, which affects a lot of stuff and is really important in this game. It's also the reason that Spider-Man has these kind of yellow highlights on him right now. So there's this mechanic, ironically called momentum, also the same name of the speedrun marathon. Where basically, as you line up more punches and deal more damage, Spider-Man will in turn do more damage, do faster attacks, and do sometimes longer combos, like especially if you're trying to go for mid-air combos. So that stacks up quite nicely. I also get like kind of a shield from once again having full arsenal mode. Once again, you normally unlock these in like, earlier playthroughs.
I've discovered a dimensional.
Basically like a little one-hit shield where you won't take damage at first and it won't stun you even. It'll just kind of like pause the game and be like, hey, you lost the shield. And then also a little mechanic where he's like kind of flexing in the background there. That little symbol is basically like, once you die, you get to a point where you regenerate with full momentum. So you basically have to like kind of build your health back up. Hopefully that doesn't happen because I have 1,000 health and I normally don't take much damage during these runs. So I'm gonna glide through here. Oh, I also almost forgot what 2099's like kind of unique ability is. He can glide when I hold the L button like that. Where he can also, because he has this gliding ability, do this little air dash mechanic. So if I go up, he can kind of just dash into one direction, left or right, because he can glide like that. This is the next boss, Vulture, bird enemy. He's really annoying. Flying enemies in games are generally pretty annoying, but hopefully, if RNG is good, I can like almost zero cycle him. Nope, he flies to the other side. That's fine. Oh, he's being weird. Okay, he's being really finicky, but hopefully this one combo I should, get most of his health down. And there he is. There's like this also kind of weird mechanic where you can combo people if you like smack them off of walls. It resets the aerial combo for some reason. And right now we're going into a conduit. So it's basically like this, it's like a mini kind of enemy gauntlet or whatever, where once you defeat everyone in here, you get a special ability from one of the other Spider-Men. And we're able to unlock this now because we defeated Vulture and we got his like cool tablet power, whatever. So we now have our web back. I forgot to mention that in exchange for him not being able to glide, earlier he was not able to use his web, but now I can. Ouch. You have to take another kind of alternate entrance right here. Then we go up through here. Hopefully avoid that flying bomb guy. Oh, he's fine. Go through here, go up. Then we're gonna kind of crawl through a vent-filled space. Roll through there real quickly. Then go down here, ground slam, and then should be out of here and on our way toward the next Spider-Man. Kick that guy in the face. Hopefully set up a really cool web swing to just get through here quickly. All right. Ooh.
It is once again your turn. Seek the one called Tinkerer.
And then now, instead of defeating the next boss, we have to get one of these conduit abilities to go into his boss fight. So we're going to go down here, go into some more vents. I normally wouldn't like try and defeat those guys down there. Like there's kind of tiny little differences between some of the categories where, as I said earlier, dealing damage to enemies in basically any form will build up this momentum meter, so I'm kind of trying to keep track of that as well as this. Hopefully I can hit the setup here. You can basically swing into enemies and do this like kickoff attack if you set up correctly, and it takes care of them really quickly. Wow. Like that. Do that and ground slam. It kind of lags the game out once you have a ton of momentum, but you do more damage, so it's kind of a interesting trade-off.
It is a Nintendo DS after all that you are playing on.
Yeah, it's not exactly the best hardware of the time, but does pretty good. Gonna go through here, hopefully avoid a ton of electric attacks and robots. All right, and then we're gonna go back toward what seems like the beginning of the game, but it's really just the boss over here. So we're kind of making our way back. We don't have the gliding ability or the air dashes from 2099, so once again I have to do more web swings and web zips, go through more vents, and then this little generator thing, the the little lever thing I just like hit back there in the background is the power that the Noir Spider-Man has. So we needed to inherit that from the conduit to beat the generator up, and now we're in the boss room.
Spider-Man, Tinkerer. What'd you think
Ooh. There's like a really hard like cash trick I'm gonna try and get where you like get him stuck into the generator right there. It's like this really hard.
No, I'm pretty sure you said robot.
It's like this really hard web swing you have to do, and he has like this weird glitchy position. It's all good. We're gonna do kind of an interesting setup, which isn't really, it doesn't really look weird at first. You're probably thinking, hey, why isn't he defeating the robot on the other side? Well, if you defeat them in a certain order, or rather a certain amount per round, it'll unlock the generators a little bit early. I'm gonna see if I can hit it. It's a really hard timing though, so I'm gonna try and disarm these guys, defeat exactly one of them, and then wait a little bit. I'm gonna just try and like, you know, web zip at these guys to, you know, have them not attack me, because I don't want to defeat two of them right now. I want to wait until one of them unlocks. It's going to be the middle one, and then the other one unlocks, and then I'm going to do this to kind of manipulate the cycle a little bit, and then I go over here, and then I defeat this. You normally have to wait the length between like the first and the second kind of round to do that, but we found that for some reason just doing one exactly in that order like skips them, and it saves like 9 to 10 like seconds. So we get another tablet piece here. Ooh, whoops. Missed the timing on that a tiny bit. So this one, we can pull down barriers from like strong walls. So we're gonna show that off right there because it's faster than rolling in the vent. And then instead of going to Noir and doing the next boss, we're actually gonna do a skip that saves like 3 minutes in the run. It's one of the biggest skips that we found, and it's surprisingly not too hard. You're normally supposed to not beat Electro until much later in the run, but instead we go over here. This is normally an ability you need to defeat a later boss for, but you go here, you time a web zip, and you save 3 minutes. We're gonna go through these vents right here and say bye to those robots.
Bye, robots.
And then we're gonna go in this little elevator fight segment right here. Gonna do the same kind of thing from earlier. It doesn't exactly one-shot these blue robots because they're a bit more powerful, but I'm gonna try and, you know, kind of defeat them like in a group like that. A lot of the like best way to kind of save time in this game through combat is like try and like beat enemies both at the same time. Like if you have smaller enemies, you can like kind of combo them together almost. I haven't really had a chance to flaunt that off because you do so much damage in this mode on this difficulty that all the enemies kind of just feel like, you know, paper mache almost. So we're gonna go into the Electro boss fight here and hopefully get some pretty good combos on this guy, because this boss has like a lot of kind of free reign for that. You just have to beat him kind of quickly. Aerial combo, reset it, rolling kick into that, and then go up. There we go. And then we get probably my favorite ability in this whole game. Some abilities you have to wait to get a tablet for, but this one just lets you run through glass walls and go super fast. It also does a lot of damage to enemies if you can like set it up properly. It one-shots most of them on this difficulty, so it's really cool. And unfortunately, you know, since we did kind of sequence break a little bit, we're not going to see too much of this after this for like until we get to another kind of dimension. So we're going to go back here and we're going to go back into the Noir portal. Then we're going to go back through this way since we have this unlocked, and then we go down, swing over. Oh, whoops. Kick our way through that and then go through here. Gonna go on the left side of Noir, and then we're gonna go into this new area, and then we're gonna do something kind of interesting. We're gonna do another skip in the run, which is a little bit less direct. So after I defeat these two guys, I'll kind of explain what's happening. So we're gonna go through this, but we're gonna skip this conduit where, you know, normally you would want to have more powers to kind of get through whatever. this area is kind of set up to where Spider-Man here can't wall crawl, so you almost need the glide to get through this. But if you set this up, you can barely make that jump right there, and you hit the like if you hit a ledge grab like that, you can just skip the entire glide skip skip the entire conduit for the glide ability. So that's pretty cool. It saves 30-40 seconds. It's not quite the Electro one, but still pretty good to go for.
Not just me, huh? Luckily,
And then this is going to be Calypso. She's kind of like a kind of,
stand aside.
I don't really know what to call her, but basically she's gonna like kind of summon enemies, almost like a witch almost. So I have to beat up these guys, and then she's gonna be like vulnerable, and like I'm able to attack her. See, normally a good strategy for defeating these large enemies is trying to like swing through and kick, but she's a bit of a problem because she has projectiles herself. But thankfully, she also has not much HP. They're kind of like, okay, this, like, you have to fight through all these enemies, so let's make her, like, you know, 2 hits or whatever. I'm gonna go back through here. I don't need the glide to go back up, so I'm just gonna speed back through this way, do a lot of backtracking almost. Go through here, skip that again. And then normally you would want to go to 2099, kind of just like directly. You want to go directly to 2099 from Noir, but we take a little shortcut through here because it's faster as opposed to just like building up the momentum. Something I didn't mention earlier is that anytime you change Spider-Man, you might have realized this already, the little meter in the bottom right that has my momentum, it resets between every Spider-Man visit, even if you just visited it. So it's better to go through this way. There's also another skip here I'm going to set up. Instead of going all the way around, I do this. I have to go up. I have to like zip down and then see if I can get it. Go up, air dodge, and then zip up at like the right. It's a really tight window to get that, so I'm glad I was able to do that. It basically saves you like trying to get around this whole area, and then you also need the like Calypso's power to go to like unlock some hidden door or whatever, but we just kind of went through all that. This is also kind of like Electro, the Silvermane fight right here, where basically, I mean, you kind of just hit him, like he's not really going to attack you. I mean, he will, but it's really easy to avoid. He doesn't go airborne though, because he's like kind of programmed as a really heavy enemy, so you can kind of just combo him there. You just dodge and you're kind of chilling. So this is what we quote unquote needed to get to Electro, the whole like you can, you know, web onto electric fields, but we don't really need to do that now. Oops, I kind of just wanted to glide down like this and then hopefully zoom to the bottom, and then now this way instead of going all the way to I think the dialogue might be a little bit messed up. We already defeated Electro, so we're on our way to defeat these kind of weird purple alien looking things from another dimension. So one of these big old portals opens up here in this room, and we're going to go into the last dimension. Going to try and set up some kind of like stomp and kick attacks right there because they're really good for having low momentum for attacks. And like I said earlier, you can kind of combo these enemies like multiple at a time if they're like the small ones like this, and then a big brute enemy. Back kick, and then we go over here. You rip this thing out of the wall and kind of avoid those guys. There's also these floating rock guys can be really annoying sometimes. I mean, they're not too bad for the like smaller flying enemies, but they can be a pain. So these conduits, or these are actually the background for the conduits. If you perhaps recognize them from earlier, doing the whole like wall reset combo thing. And there we go. And this game is actually programmed where anytime you like beat a conduit, it really teleports you to one of these rooms. So there is a wrong warp you can do in this game that kind of skips like 10 minutes. I'm not even kidding. You basically gain enough speed to kind of just teleport through the doorway, and it like takes you straight to the final boss, like 15 minutes in. But that's an entirely separate category because we decided, hey, this would like kind of break the entire game, so not going to be doing it. It's also crazy hard. It's much harder than any of the other things I've tried to attempt here, so I didn't even bother with it. So we're going to be doing the spider dash move, go through about 100 of these glass panels, and then go into this little vent right here. We're like halfway through the shattered dimension. I don't know what this dimension is actually called. Probably just mysterious dimension. I like to call it like the shattered dimension because stuff is like all broken and floating and stuff, and nothing really makes sense here. Another conduit room going up here. Ooh. This game also kind of has some like slight collision damage where sometimes if you just like knock an enemy into another one, it'll do like a tiny bit of damage. You can stop doing that now. Oh, not gonna get me with that one. There we go. Ooh, missed me. There we go. Should be 1, 2. Oh, he almost just took care of my job for me, but thanks, I guess. Gonna be jumping down here and then just kind of running along the ceiling of this room to skip that little segment there. We go up here. There's also these weird kind of like purple looking walls up here. They basically disable you from like being able to web zip or swing off this. So there's normally like a little puzzle in this room, but we can get enough momentum to kind of just run up the wall there. Then we go through here. Another little kind of weird state where you're just like standing in the vent right there if you like zip at the right angle. And we go through here. All right. And then this is basically going to be the final like kind of gauntlet room like this before we get to the final boss. Oh. You can keep that bomb, really. There we go. Gonna set this up, throw that electric gun behind me so it explodes and it sends the guys flying. Ooh. There we go, steal the gun. Generally, when there's like a few different like small enemies like this, I'm gonna try and disarm them if they have like projectile weapons, like they shoot like rockets or whatever. But if they just have a shield, then I'm generally not too worried because you can generally just web swing through them. Like they're not normally a problem like that otherwise. And then yes, with these guys, these big enemies in the Shattered Dimension do kind of have like these laser attacks, but they're generally not an issue. You could just like kind of web swing into them and you just disintegrate them. There we go. Final save room, and we are at the last boss.
You give me the tablet, and I'll spare you the embarrassment of getting clobbered.
I think he's going to be embarrassed by getting clobbered. That's my guess.
Yup.
To the destruction of reality, all will be Mysterio.
Ugh. It's here. You don't wrap this speech. How about I wrap it for you?
Oh. Missed me. Nice, I got him into an infinite combo.
There you go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes there's like this weird kind of glitch that happens where he moonwalks like Michael Jackson, and I was hoping to get that, but I think I still did pretty good at the final boss. And as with any good Metroidvania, there's an escape sequence in this.
Of course.
Big old portal opens up, then try and get through here. And then time ends when I get to the very end of this kind of section, and I'll let y'all know when that's coming up. It's normally, you know, when the timer's about to be like 110-ish. So I'm going to try and set up a spider dash here and basically run through the whole way and kind of minimize distance by going off of like walls and stuff like that. So I go through here, run up the ceiling, and then go back into this corner, cut through that. It's really cool that you're able to like kind of continue the wall runs like this with these little like web zips. Ooh, that was kind of risky, but It's at the end of this hallway, so there's going to be a little portal coming up, and time is almost up here in now.
GG's.
Nice. So yeah, we saved the universes, the multiverse. Well, a few of them at least. Still more work to be done. You never know.
All right.
Sweet. Well, that was a Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions for the DS on full Arsenal mode. And yeah, I'm
Got
glad
any
to
shout
run.
outs?
Yeah, huge shout out to Jaxler, the guy that got
Yes.
me into this game. He ran AGDQ 2021. He did a great run of any percent, I believe. I also want to shout out Prince Von Twix and the Master Pro 1212 for being speedrunners of the whole, like, kind of, like, we have a small kind of Discord server of, like, Spider-Man DS games in general. You know, they're really big names there. Everyone in that server, of course, you know, my friends that are here with me. And yeah, thank you guys.
All right, so that was Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. My name is Bobby Blackwolf. This is it for me on stage this weekend. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm an Atlanta native, so watching MomoCon grow, it's its 20th anniversary, has been a joy. I'm so glad that I was able to be a little bit part of it. Coming up next, though, is the finale of our Super Metroid block, Super Metroid, and the finale of the marathon. The bid war for the sprite choice is still open, and Save and Kill the Animals is open. So please go to speedrun.gives. Donate to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Super Metroid is coming up next. Don't close that tab.